Hi, everyone. Hello, welcome to our webinar. We will give a minute for the people to arrive, and then we are going to kick it off. All right, in terms of time and planning, I think people will just join along the webinar, and we can start. Let's kick it off. So welcome everyone to our webinar about marketing automation and AI and how to unleash the power of it. And I'm very happy about it, and I hope you had a great day until now, and you will enjoy this webinar with us. And with that, I want to welcome my dearest Mitra, who will be along here in the webinar. So
Thank you very much.
we're going to do a short introduction. Mitra, who are you? Tell the people who you are and what you are doing at Salesforce.
Sure, very glad to do that. So my name is Mitra Azimzadegan, and I run tech and services industry, which is one vertical industry in Salesforce for the marketing cloud solution in Germany. So very happy to be here today. So what do you do, Sergey?
Thank you. What do I do? I'm a marketing service manager at Merkle, and that means that I'm leading a group of people, a very skilled group of people that are implementing marketing projects or marketing technology projects, especially Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And yeah, that is what I do at Merkle. Let's take a look at the agenda for today. So we're going to introduce what we will be talking about in a very short, let's say, use case or case. Then we are going to talk about the AI availabilities that we've had so far or that are available currently. And of course, we are going to follow the trends and follow the hype and looking at the new generation of AI. And then to sum it up, we're going to look at how to effectively use the new AI or AI in general within your company. So let's start with an intro. And for the intro, we're going to tell a story of Amina. You see, it's not a real person. It's the picture is generative AI generated. But it is an inspired story by a real customer interaction that we had on some of our clients or some of our projects. So with that, Amina is a CRM manager at a retailer, and this is a client of Merkle and Salesforce. And Amina is responsible for digital transformation of CRM and for marketing processes. And following a strategy consulting phase, her company decided to implement the Sales Cloud as the CRM and the Marketing Cloud for marketing automation. And now a part of Amina's life, or a very cool ritual, is going to the market every Saturday. And she almost always buys the same fruit at the same fruit stand and interacts with the same salesperson at this fruit stand. And every time she has a great sales experience because the seller knows her needs. He does know when she arrives usually, and he's able to surprise her with interesting offers and fruit combinations she did not know before. So one day, she has this great experience at things. Okay, I am having the marketing automation implementation and the CRM implementation ahead of me. How would I transfer this sales experience in terms of personalization to my own clients? And therefore, she contacts her implementation partner, who is Merkle, and asks what personalization options she can use within the Marketing Cloud. Before we go into the details and continue with the story of Amina, it's really important here to understand, for those who are not familiar with the Salesforce, it's Salesforce Marketing Cloud, or the whole technology stack of Salesforce. We're going to take a look at what is Marketing Cloud and what capabilities it can bring to the table, and who would be better than Mitra to give us a brief look onto this technology.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's really important to just set the scene very briefly. So generally speaking, Marketing Suite belongs to the Salesforce platform portfolio. So it's part of, and obviously also connected to, the #1 CRM that we are famous for. So I guess in a nutshell, and for today's call and for this story of Amina, it's just important to understand that regardless whether you want to talk about B2B or B2C, whether it's about lead generation or if it's about increasing your customer lifetime value, Salesforce has a very big portfolio within the marketing suite to support your whole customer experience journey along the way. And you as a customer, and Amina obviously, can pick and choose on which end she would like to start. So and there's one other thing that we should mention at this point already, because we're going to talk about it a lot. As part of our platform, there's a very famous scientist, which name Salesforce used, let's say, to introduce AI already 2017 to the platform, because AI as such is really nothing new to Salesforce. So this little man on this slide is called Einstein. So you're going to hear Einstein a lot today. And you have to imagine, on any given day, already Einstein does over 266 billion predictions on our platform. So for our customers at this point. And before we talk about generative AI, Sergey will tell us a little bit about what we already do on this platform, especially on the marketing platform, when it comes to AI. So I'll give it back to you, Sergey.
Thanks, Mitra. All right, so now getting back to the story of Amina, now she gets her answer about the AI features that are available to her. And I mean, she does not need to make a big step in the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Predictive AI features are already available from day one. So with an enterprise edition or with some other editions or edition combinations, she can start using them directly. And looking at the slide, you know, we see 3 different areas, and she can start with the personalization step. So what is available there? Einstein engagement scoring, for example, that she can use to access aggregated customer data on a dashboard. And of course, automated data tables that she can use for her customer journeys, for example. For instance, she can have here a specific content played out to a certain score audience. So this feature is basically automated, and in the back end, it's orchestrating and creating segments and delivering those segments ready for the users to build customer journeys and interactions with those segments. Or The next phase would be to use recommendations. So she can use the Einstein email recommendations to be more specific or more accurate in terms of targeting customer with products. Now, that is not enough. She says, okay, I'm going to optimize my communications a bit more. And for example, with Einstein send time optimization, she can optimize open rates. The model calculates the best opening time for each customer and delivers the message at this time frame, say. And this is available as well as a dashboard to see the analysis of the opening times or for the send time, as well as an activity inside customer journeys to basically guide those interactions specifically when the email would be opened or should be opened. The next thing here is the messaging insights. Those messaging insights provide her with a daily automated performance overview. And this feature is also able to send push notifications to her to alert her with any deviations that is taking place in her communication, in her journeys, etc. And so there are many availabilities already. I will not go through all of them, but they're all available and can be used and can be leveraged in the right way. The last thing for Optimize I would still mention is the copy insights, for example. So the tool analyzes the subject lines or the language that is used in the subject lines, and then gives you then the best working or the best performing subject lines and make suggestions to optimize them. Well, for the engaging part, the last one is basically on top. So now you personalized, optimized your communication. Now Amina is looking to find out, hey, what can I do more? And for example, she can automatically deploy content with the content selection feature. And this feature analyzes already used content based on customer interaction, and then picks the right content and puts it automatically inside an email based on data and based on the insights that it generates, again, automatically in the backend. And to broaden her audience, to target new clients, she can use lookalike audiences that is based on, for example, her most loyal customers that she know from the engagement scoring, for example. So there's these possibilities, and all of them can be used already from now on. If you have an enterprise edition of Marketing Cloud, you can already calculate, or you can already plan all of those features for your customer journeys. Now, having said that, of course, she is very curious. I mean, is satisfied with the answer. She now has a grasp on or a good understanding of the predictive AI features. But of course, she's following the trends. She's following the hype around the topic of generative AI. And she wants to understand more about it. And therefore, she schedules just a call with her partners, with Salesforce and Merkle, to understand more. So yeah, let's see what we can tell Amina about that. So maybe in general, let's start first with what is generative AI. Yeah, generative AI are essentially algorithms that create content. What's behind it? Behind it is a massive neural network, also known as large language models. And this network learns from studying huge amounts of training data. And based on this, it builds an understanding of context. So it brings things together and can build context out of it. And this context can be used to create new content, such text or images, so the transforming part. And that is just a short explanation of what is generative AI. Let's maybe take a look from a technology giant perspective, what impact the new generation of AI is bringing to the table. So, Mitra, what is your view on that?
Well, yeah. So generative AI is what everyone speaks about, right? Over a year now. And the importance and I believe also impact is very good shown on this slide, I hope at least. I mean, if you look at the mobile phone, it needed 16 years to get to 100 million users. And if you look at or if you consider social media and let's say in particular Instagram, they needed 2.5 years to get to that particular number. And when we're looking at generative AI, it was only 8 weeks last year. So there's no wonder that it's absolutely top of mind for every CIO, CEO, marketing person since last year for sure. So I guess there's definitely opportunity in there. We all know that. But where there's light, I guess there's also potentially shadow and risk that we need to talk about. Maybe we'll go on the next slide. So while we are evaluating how we can use generative AI safely in our companies and in our enterprises, we definitely need to talk about privacy. And we also need to talk about hallucinations. As not every answer AI is producing at this point in time is necessarily real. So a very prominent example that actually our CEO, Mark Benioff, gave in our last earnings call, which is publicly available, he spoke about an American airline that used a chatbot that is based on generative AI already. So the US is always, going ahead. And the customer was asking for a flight that is refundable within 90 days. And then the chatbot hallucinated an answer, basically a product that didn't exist. And that was purely not correct. So now I guess we have to ask who is responsible for that answer. Is it the technology? Is it the airline? Does the airline have to deliver on this wrong response and refund the flight if the customer wanted to? From a legal perspective in the US, in this case, it would say yes, as a chatbot would be considered as company and should be seen as an employee who did a mistake within that company. So these are all topics, just to give you this very, I think, clear example that we need to talk about and to consider while we are safely experimenting to introduce generative AI in our processes. And obviously, Germany is a very different market and also different laws and regulation. But this example, I think, shows you what we also really need to take into consideration. We need to also talk about, for instance, the bias that might be programmed into the model by us humans who are still programming this. Or also my new favorite word, toxicity. So if you think again about the chatbot, does it behave in the guidelines? Does it behave the way we want it to? Does it talk to our customers the way we want it to talk to our customers? These are all things that we need to be very, very mindful about. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, no doubt, there's a lot of opportunity here, but obviously also risk, and that needs to be mitigated. And we need to really consider this before we introduce anything. So, and now I talked about all these risks, so I would like to talk about how Salesforce actually tackles these challenges. And I told you I'm going to talk about Einstein. So now I'm going to talk about the Einstein trust layer. So trust as such is since 25 years since we exist really, our number one value. as Salesforce was born in the cloud. So we always had to talk about trust, and we always had to talk about how to protect the data of our customers. So this is really nothing new to us, and that's what we're going to do since day one. So high level, we have introduced now a product or a technology really that is called Data Cloud, and that is the backbone of the whole setup that we are talking about. And it's created and based on a CDP that we've introduced years ago already to the market. So you have to imagine the Einstein trust layer is supposed and is bridging your data and generative AI, as it just masks the data that you're using for prompts and AI outputs. So it's like an audit that is running, protecting your data to go public and making sure that this output is in line with your branding and your company values. It should really not matter which AI model, generative AI model you're using. We are making sure that it cannot save your data and learn from it and feeding it to other companies in the worst scenario. So you might have read it in the news. There is already, I mean, there are big media companies like the New York Times that have filed lawsuits against AI, generative AI companies, saying basically that they are stealing their work and profiting from it. And this is exactly what we don't want, right? And this is exactly what Einstein Trust Layer is preventing. So if you're interested to learn more, please go ahead, contact me or your Salesforce representative. We are also offering data in cloud incubator days in bigger cities in Germany to work really hands-on with you on your use cases and to make sure that you really know how to work with data cloud. So please just leverage that. And now that I've talked about the Einstein Trust Layer, Sergey is going to talk a little bit more how to leverage the whole topic, generative AI. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Mitra. This is a very exciting topic. The trust layer is a very important piece of technology that is going to support the next phase of generative AI and is going to tackle the issues that Mitra very well described. I want now to look at the things that are, let's say, prerequisites for using AI. So what do you need to be aware of? What do you need to include in your company, in your decision making, in your plan to be able to use AI properly? So, and back to Amina's story here, of course, everything that we're going to tell you about how to use AI in company, she's a smart fox. She she basically already have done this homework before the implementation of the Sales and Marketing Cloud. And let's take a look what it is about. So first of all, it's simple, but it's very frustrating and requiring. Why frustrating? Because the effort to dive into the strategy, the data strategy, understanding the data and its quality and the sources, the multiple sources often that are bringing all of this data. So first of all, first party data strategy is needed. How it can look like. So we can apply following approach. And we have three pillars, three big pillars that consist out of different parts. And they are analysis, vision, and strategy. And the analysis phase, it involves looking at the current situation from different perspectives, including the use of research. So basically the inside out perspective that examines internal processes and data, and the outside in perspective that looks at market trends and competition. And this is the part with the research that we also do very often with our clients. And the result is a very comprehensive analysis of the current situation, which means the current data environment. Now, the second part is creating a vision. And this part has like 3 subparts, let's say, or sub-processes, let's say. And it is a data perspective, which includes identifying the needed data and its utilization. It's the business perspective that aligns the data strategy with your business goals, and the technology perspective that ensures that the infrastructure is supporting your data perspective and your business perspective. So overall, the result is that you get a holistic view on a potential situation. And the last part is the actual strategy. So, which means the strategy development. And it means, on the one hand, the roadmap investment and the roadmap and investment that will outline the plan, the necessary steps, the milestones, etc., and the resources that are needed for that. And the second part is it's the inputs of the organization that define the integration of different business areas and the organizational structure overall. Now, and the value that is added to that is that you focus on a strategic and cost-effective use of your data, and you get a clear and sensible roadmap for your data strategy. Another piece is, and this is a very packed slide, but it is a very important slide, and it leads from data strategy to a connected MarTech stack, and then it's going to lead us later to the harmonization of data. But for now, normally we go through all of these layers and all of these components, but I will just go through it a bit and try to make my message straight at the end. So, with the activation layer, it's clear this one is focusing on personalization across various channels or engagement channels. The content layer that comes in play has the goal of organizing your content and creating content. The decisioning layer, where is the marketing automation part, which has a bigger part in our today's conversation, has the objective to streamline your marketing operations and determine the customer engagement strategies. And then you have the insights. Of course, whatever you're doing should be measured pretty clear. And this layer provides an audience behavior analysis for more targeting, for more segmentation, etc. And now we come to the data management layer. And the purpose of it is manage, protect, ensure the accuracy of data, the customer data. And of course, for the actionable insights that are also packed into this layer. And the main message here is, bring as much data as possible into one place and harmonize it. And how can we do it? And this is the second step of our part of how to start with AI. It's the harmonization and usability of data. And from a technology perspective, again, I think, Mitra, you would be very much into explaining it to us. What are the possibilities from a Salesforce perspective on how to, let's say, challenge or tackle this challenge with a tool?
Great. So let me try to do this as non-technologically as I can. Yeah. Let me explain to you in a few words how Data Cloud works. So we take all sorts of data, whether it is in Salesforce or in other sources that you have in your company. historical data, potentially real-time data from your website. And we take all of this data that you have, and we have this need, right, to harmonize it, as Sege just said, and to make sense out of it. And you know by now I love examples. So my easiest example for that is when you have some information, for instance, that is in a dollar value, and some that is in yen, and some that is in euro, it's really difficult to make any sense out of it, especially when they are maybe from different years, different timings, and obviously then also different currency influences. So if you're not deciding for one currency change ratio and then harmonize it, there's no way you can make really good decisions based on the data. And this is a very easy example of what we definitely do. We do it with structured data, we do it with unstructured data, and we help you to have a strategy how to harmonize it with the data cloud. And then from my point of view, it comes the fun part, and from a marketing point of view, because then when you have harmonized everything, then you have insights and really analysis that make sense and that you can use to drive campaigns. And then we use also the data cloud to activate different audiences in the way you want. So basically you can decide, that's the right part of the picture, which apps, which channels you want to use, which media, communication ways, and generally how you want to contact your customer. And then you have to imagine, obviously, there's also, again, insights produced, reactions or non-reactions, and that will be, you learn from it and you feed it back, and that is, again, data that you can use and that you can leverage. So I guess data is gold, yeah, and we all know gold price is going up. So that is what we are trying to help you with the data cloud. So now, I guess when we think again about our customer Amina, let's stop talking about the theory and let's just really dive into the generative part of what we have just talked about and what Salesforce already done in the last few months and what was part of our roadmap and that is already available. And you can see that on the slide. And I would like to highlight really two of them for today's webinar. And that is the email content creation and the typeface partnership. I mean, the first one I would like to highlight because it's really clear to me, at least, the efficiency part. And the second one I would like to talk about because potentially it's not known by everyone. But obviously also segment creation and Einstein for account engagement, which is our B2B marketing solution, are also very interesting part of our roadmap, and we can talk about them if you're interested later on in the Q&A. So coming to email content creation, it's like the word is saying, it's supporting you to create fast email campaigns. So the model learns by feeding it with prompts, but also former campaigns that you've already done. And so you can very easily test different subject lines, different pictures, different setups, different texts. And it doesn't say it will do all the work, but it will definitely inspire you and create text that hopefully make it for you way easier to create faster campaigns, more campaigns in the same amount of time. So that's the email content creation. And then the typeface partnership, I'm super excited about that because it brings content and marketing together. So with this, you can upload, for instance, pictures that are in line with your branding guidelines, and then produce hundreds, potentially thousands of versions of it if you want. You're definitely going to cut production costs and generally timing. So in other words, you can generate multiple content variations for all your different segments and then combine them with the Salesforce dynamic content capabilities to deliver at scale. So you see this shoe. It could be in front of, I don't know, trees. It could be in front of mountains. It could be in front of whatever you imagine. And it doesn't mean that you have to photograph them all. You can use this type-based partnership. And then also work with the colors, and you really set your imagination free. So I hope that excites you a little bit. So Sergey, last time, I guess, over to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mitra. Very, very, very exciting. I am looking forward to working with all of those tools. I mean, parts of them I have already seen in demos, so I'm really excited to use them. I mean, to close it, I would say you have seen now very important parts. I mean, from a technology perspective, hey, what is already there? What can I leverage to optimize or bring my personalization and segmentation to the next level? There are already features that will do the work for you behind the scenes and will give you the insights and will give you the outcome, will give you the audiences, etc., that you can use for segmentation and personalization. The parts that you need for bringing AI into your company are also quite clear. I mean, without a strategy, you know the slogan, let's say, garbage in, garbage out. So don't do that. Give it a time, give it a proper data strategy, and give it a proper design phase or discovery phase to find out what dots you need to connect. And with dots, I mean systems or data sources. You need to connect them to be able to get the best out of your AI, because as you heard it a lot of times now in this presentation, but you know it, AI will learn from data, and if the data has a bad quality, it will learn the bad quality data. So with that, I would close and I would open for a questions and answers round. And with that, I will actually, to be able to see the chat, I will stop sharing. All right, let me take a look at the questions. Questions. Give me a second. Okay, first one, I think by reading it, it's for you, Mitra. Do I need to buy data cloud licenses to be able to protect my data by the Einstein trust layer, or if I want to use generative AI features within Salesforce?
So you don't need to buy the data cloud to get the Einstein trust layer to work. So this is part of our technology setup. That's for sure. So, but if you want to use, let's say, data out of your CRM or your Salesforce Marketing Cloud solution, and you have it in an unstructured way potentially, or you really just want to use not AI but generative AI, then yes, then you need data cloud. So it's not 100% like for the trust layer, potentially the whole metadata system that we have in the background, that is not touched. You don't need data cloud for that. But if you want to think bigger than Salesforce data, then you would need to consider data cloud. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. And just I will just repeat one more thing. And it's like, think about your data sources or where your data is coming from and how you want to handle it. So, and as Mitra said, if you want to bring structured, unstructured data together and make the most sense out of it, by harmonizing and unifying it and bringing it to a, like, let's say, unified customer profile, data cloud or CDP is in general the way to go. So think about that, but the licenses question, I think, was answered. The second one, or the next one. Typeface seems to be an app exchange app, and you need to install and probably pay for it extra, right? Will this be at some point included into standard SFMC AI features? I think, Mitra, this one is also for you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe not everyone knows the App Exchange. You can Google that. It's our platform where there are a lot of applications that other customers, but obviously also other software companies, our implementation partners have invented, and some are for free and some do cost. I think I counted this morning over 2,000. So it's really interesting to have a look in case you are a Salesforce customer and you don't know the App Exchange. To answer that question, we have 3 innovation rounds every year that we provide to our customers for free. And usually the way our product managers for all the different products of Salesforce come up with that roadmap is they try to prioritize what is best for the majority of the customer base. So very famous example, Teams integration, or to Google Analytics, all these features have been introduced to our roadmap for free because it interests a lot of our customers. And I think that will be my answer for typeface. So in case that is, in giving us the response and the feedback from our customer base, a very interesting one for your to bring your marketing to the next level, then I could imagine that it will be part of our roadmap at some point for free. But currently, at this point, it's not planned yet. Yeah.
All right. Moving to the next one. Will you share the slides? That's a yes. Which large language models do you use? And can we investigate different large language models depending on our use cases? Yes, you can. When we talked about the Einstein trust layer, it means that the Einstein trust layer connects the features that are inside of the Salesforce systems to either provided by Salesforce large language model or another one. But this trust layer will be always in between. So if you think about those big tech providers like OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., they have their own models. So Salesforce opened the gates, let's say, to work with those large language models, but again, it goes through the Einstein trust layer. So those models never learn from the client data because data is masked and all the steps that are included in the trust layer that perform at the end the whole operation. Mitra, do you have to add anything to that?
No, I think you summarized it perfectly.
All right. Well, does typeface have been acquired by Salesforce?
Well, not that I know of. Yeah.
I also didn't hear about an acquisition.
Yeah, you never know. We do acquire companies, obviously, but I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that one.
Okay. Which other image creation services could be connected except for typeface? Well, again here, as I said, the models that you connect to Salesforce can come from different providers, and all of them will go or will be connected to the trust layer. So if you imagine, there will be some that are already in scope and Salesforce is working with them and there will be some that are maybe less known, let's say, but still the capabilities and the integrations are quite similar. So for that, it's a very specific question, and to answer that, I would need to understand a bit more. But if you are interested in finding out more, please reach out, because connecting or integrating systems to one another, there is a bit of, let's say, discovery needed, and to say, hey, this is the model, this is how I want to use it, and basically I want to connect it or integrate it with Marketing Cloud. So what are my possibilities, and what is the basically how the data security is working, and is basically not giving out my data. All right, with that, I would say we can close the session. All of your questions have been answered so far. If we didn't answer some questions, sorry if I missed some, but in that case, we will try to reach out to you directly and answer those questions. And with that, first of all, thanks a lot, Mitra, for being here with me and showing our audience the topic of AI and marketing automation. Of course, thanks a lot to the audience and to the people that joined us for this quite exciting webinar. And thank you for being here and taking the time.
It was great fun. Thank you very much. Have a great day, all of you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.